Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube, and welcome to, of course, the Wednesday review. Now, today I'm reviewing, of course, another Doomsday Today Records release, as you can tell by the t-shirt, and of course it's one of the last, at least of the first batch of Doomsday Today Records releases that was sent to me. Pretty much the first box I had received from Paul of Doomsday Today Records. That's of course is the only release from, of course, the one-man band project, or one-man was it crust punk, down-tempo experimental project, which is Spoiled Humanic Waste, and the release is titled Broken Hate Addict. So, this, of course, was actually originally released through, of course, Paul's original label, Stock Picker Records, sometime in 2009, and, of course, it was, of course, re-released through, of course, Paul's, again, Doomsday Today Records on June 27th of 2019. So, as far as information on the backstory behind this, apparently he was in the main guy here, the only band, I think his name is Andy. That's all that's kind of, that's all that at least has been kind of said about, at least, of here, actually here, Andrew Gray. This was, I think he was, I think, in a few other bands or so, but the thing is, this was his project. Apparently, on Bandcamp's page here for, of course, Doomsday Today Records and this release here, again, apparently this was all recorded in like April to June of 2007, and of course, actually, it was originally released, or the original release date was supposed to be 2009 on Stock Picker Records. So apparently this was kind of unreleased, apparently. So that there's at least the information. So this was kind of an unreleased album. So really the official date was actually June 27th, 2019. So there you go. That's pretty much all the backstory that is, I guess, for here. So I guess from here on out, let's definitely get into, of course, the album itself. So let's get into it. Broken Hate Addict. Alright, so Broken Hate Addict, which is the only album, of course, from Andrew Gray's one-man band project, Spoiled Humanic Waste. So, the album itself, it consists about 11 songs here, and of course it all clocks in around 49 minutes long. So these 11 songs are, of course, is Surrender to It, No Teeth, No Life, No Job, No Hope, It's Collapsing, Fighting for the Itch. I'm just going by off the, again, the back of the cassette here. Reflection of Self, Life, actually, Reflection of Self. Okay. Message from the Mentally Ill, KGB, Push Pins, and Sunflowers. Dig Into Me, Never Be Happy, and Intellectual Decomposition. So there's at least, I might have butchered some of that, but bear with me, okay? Just bear with me. So there you go, there's all the 11 songs here. So, where do I really start with my thoughts on the album itself? You know what? In order to get to at least paint you a better picture, I'm going to read off the back of the cover here, the back of the slip cover here, the card. So here we go. Spoiled Humanic Waste is for the hate that dwells in all mankind, spreading the new gospel of plague and mass retardation. I hope YouTube doesn't I'm not under monetization, but I hope they don't strike me for that. So if anyone gets offended by some of this, I apologize. but still, I'm just reading off here at least to give everybody a better picture on what, again, this Spoiled Humanic Waste is about. Wow, I'm sounding like a real bad talk show host here. Ooh. All recording were done in an insect and broken glass filled basement with every instrument and torture scream done poorly by Andy. If you have this tape, then I want to thank you for taking the time out of your life to kill more brain cells. Being a one-man band, I survive on one word of mouth, and people like you that give it the chance and have faith in what I do. I thank you all. That pretty much, I would say, gives you the best the best idea of what you get, because this is, I mean, I've already kind of broken down at least, or give you on some of the genre at least. It's definitely somewhere between crust punk, apparently down tempo. I'm not completely familiar with what at least classifies for at least down tempo, but I guess if this is what classifies, then I guess that means this is what down tempo sounds like, and experimental. And there's an experimental feel to this sound for sure, but I do get the crust punk vibes because this is very raw. But I wouldn't say this is the best crust punk, though. I mean, if you want good idea for great crust punk, I think Amabix is actually, I think, kind of one in that regard, or even at times maybe early Discharge. At times, I guess, is kind of close to that. But this does have that, but it's definitely not nearly as perfect compared to some of those bands. But that's at least that's the best comparisons I can probably make. But this definitely does have at least some of that kind of going on. It is very much in punk influence for sure. But it's definitely, again, at times even the very almost depressive and dark and real hate kind of side, at least, of the punk genre for sure. It's definitely sloppy. I will also give it that. It also has a sloppy feel. Though, apparently, again, I think it does kind of give the album its charm, that sloppiness, just like how, at least, it added to at least the early material from Sodom and Crater, for example. I mean, it was that sloppiness of stuff like In the Sign of Evil and Obsessed by Cruelty that at least added the charm of that, or early Venom, or Bathory, just to give you some good examples of how sloppiness definitely works. And in this case, it does, to at least Andrew's advantage. That raw sloppiness does kind of add to at least the depressive and hateful feel of this album, for sure. I'm not gonna deny that. But for me personally, I'm not a big fan of at least of what's kind of, I mean, it's different. It's interesting. Again, I am definitely one of those of these reviewers that does have an open mind. For sure. Even if some of this is definitely politically incorrect, I still have an open mind just to give some of this stuff a chance, because then later on, I can be able to really better judge a lot of other stuff as well, or give my opinions and so on. But for sure, some of this is definitely, it's got an interesting vibe, and I think in many ways it definitely works to, of course, Andrew's advantage. But in my opinion, it's not something I'm a completely fan of, but I'm not mad at the fact that I at least gave this a listen. It was definitely different, and again, it was definitely just quite different. That's the best thing I can come up with. That's the best I can. And so that's the best I can come up with. There's really not much standout tracks. There are really 2 long songs on this one, and that's, of course, is track number 5, which is Reflection of Self. That apparently clocks in at 7 minutes and 3 seconds. And, of course, the longest song on here, and I remember it being pretty slow. It definitely has a slow, very dark, methodical feel to it. That's, of course, is the very last song on here, which, of course, is Internal Decomposition, which, of course, clocks in at 8 minutes and 37 seconds. So, really, this is I don't know if those really are standout tracks, but those are more so just, at least, just more mentions than anything. So, there you go. There you go. There's, of course, this Broken Hate Addict from Spoiled Humanic Waste. So, if I'm not giving any rating, of course. I'm not going to give this any rating. I think in many ways it probably would just be pointless for me to give any rating, at least something like this. not to use that as an insult. I've said that many times when it comes to some of these releases. It's not meant to be as an insult, and I hope some people are not taking that as an insult. I can't really give some of this stuff a rating because again, it's out of my specialty zone to really kind of do stuff, because again, and feel that in many ways I don't know, it won't do much good, I feel, to it. I think in many ways the best thing to say is give this a listen. That's all I gotta say. Give this a listen. If this is something, if it sounds like something you might be interested in, give it a listen. Of course, I'm going to leave you a link to, of course, Doomsday's Today Bandcamp's page, and it will be, of course, a link to this release here. Actually, again, if you like what you hear out of this, actually here, sludge punk core. If you like that kind of stuff here, again, there's cassette copies still remaining left on the page. There are 4 remaining, and it all is at $5 here. So again, if this is something you might like and you might dig the sample or at least the songs on Bandcamp, then go ahead, go out and again buy this copy and see if own it. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed. This is Every Thrash Sam out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.